Thursday, I'm Jess Abrahamson.
And I'm Kelsey Marrier. Good morning. A snowy waking up on a Thursday this morning because, some snow fell overnight and it's creating a little bit of different things that we haven't seen in a minute. Meteorologist Ted Schmidt is out on our weather patio. He said earlier in our show that it's been about a month since we've had a snowfall like this. Isn't that right, Ted?
Really, any snowfall to measure. Anyway, an inch of snow here on the weather patio, and we've already talked about how we have some fresh snow tracks, or paw prints out here from Patio Bunny, who visited the weather patio before our morning program. But now it's, a cold and blustery day, but the snow has come to an end. Current road conditions, they're promising signs, though. We did have mostly blue on the map. Now we have a lot of green showing up around Rochester, around Owatonna. That suggests that road conditions are back to normal driving conditions, as the road crews have been able to clear that inch to 3 inches of fresh snowfall off the map. So a good thing there. We are looking otherwise at still the possibility of slick spots, especially in some of those secondary roads, some of those side streets, sidewalks. We had that crust and some of those icy patches from that rain that changed the snow last night. Again, an inch of snow here at the studio. Skies are clear. We can actually see some stars here from the weather patio. That is our Lewiston auto camera. It feels like 13. The actual temperature 23 here at the studio. Kind of a raw northwest breeze. That's going to be kind of gusty and kind of miserable, to be quite honest, throughout the day. 21 the current temperature at the Rochester Airport. 18 in Dodge Center, Mason City 21, and the wind chill again right now single digits across the board. Skies have cleared off. We'll stick with the sun for the rest of today with those cold winds. Bus stop forecast on the way to school. 23 with cold winds, and it's going to be breezy and cold still this afternoon with more sunshine, plenty of sun throughout the day. 29 the high temperature later on this afternoon. Look for again some sun throughout the day, upper 20s, the coldest high temperature of the month so far. We have not had a high temperature below freezing in this very unusual month of February. Today is the first time for that to happen.
Okay, thank you, Ted. And Ted's telling us we have an improving situation out there this morning, but roads are still covered in places. So we sent our photographer Kaylee Dershel out and about this morning. She's giving us a safe look here at road conditions in Rochester as she's heading south there onto Highway 63 in Rochester. We do have one school delay to pass along. Riceville Community Schools 2 hours late. That's the only one we've gotten so far, but the road's looking pretty good right here. It's the side streets in towns that are really going to be slushy and kind of crunchy, and we got that rain and then the snow. So you will maybe want to allow some extra time if you can this morning to get where you need to be. And thank you as always, Kaylee, for giving us a look at what's happening outside. Don't forget our app too, our news and weather app. We're keeping a close eye on all of this. The presidential primary is inching closer and closer. Tomorrow is the first day of absentee in-person direct balloting for Olmsted County.
Yeah, our Darian Liddy was actually able to catch up with county election officers to shed some light about all of this for tomorrow. Starting that, Darian, you caught up with them. So what do we need to know ahead of tomorrow for casting our ballots?
Yeah, Jess and Kelsey, it's always good to have a plan in place and know how to implement that plan when you are voting. So like you said, this is for the presidential primary, which is held every 4 years ahead of the general election in November. Election officials describe direct balloting as kind of between absentee voting and election day voting. So instead of sending in your ballot in the mail, you're actually going to show up on site and then fill out an absentee application, and then you'll get your ballot there, you'll vote there, and then you'll put it into the tabulator like you would do on election day. One thing to know, a voter must request the ballot of a major political party of their choice. In Minnesota, that's Republican, Democratic, and Legal Marijuana Now Party.
Remember to do your research ahead of time. You're going to have to select a ballot for a political party for this one. So you're researching which party you most agree with the principles of, then selecting a candidate off that party. A number of the candidates may have already dropped off, so some of the names on the ballot may not be running currently, so always do your research ahead of time.
There are 2 direct balloting locations in Olmsted County. The first is the Olmsted County Elections Office. That is opening tomorrow. It's open until March 4th, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The second location opens on February 27th at the Olmsted County Government Center. That's open through March 5th, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And both locations are open on Saturday, March 2nd, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., a little bit closer to that date there. And again, the Minnesota primary is March 5th, and the general presidential election is November 5th. Election season kind of just crept up on me this year for some reason, but it's always good to kind of plan in advance and to know how you want to vote, because it's really important to do so.
Yeah, definitely. It's our civic duty. And of course, if you still have any questions, we always know that the staff and volunteers at those locations, they're always so helpful.
They're really great.
Thank you so much, Darian. We have an update now from the Minnesota legislature as the complicated saga of a single line of legislation continues.
A fix for legislation regarding use of force by school resource officers. That's hit a snag in the House. The law in question led several school districts to pull their SROs back in the fall over confusing language. Now, after fast-tracking a bill to be ready on day one of the session, authors in the House say it just needs more time. While the bill was laid over in the Minnesota House, it passed the Senate Education Committee without much trouble. Still, some Senate Republicans think it needs more time, although for different reasons than the House.
In my opinion, the bill that we had before us today was not ready. It was not as far along as maybe it has progressed in the House.
I will be in contact with the other side as soon as we are ready to move, but we are still moving quickly, and we just want to make sure that we've heard from the stakeholders.
So the bill will now move into the Judiciary Committee in the Senate. That committee is expected to be its final stop before it hits the floor for a vote.
Tragedy in Kansas City, Missouri this morning. One person is dead and as many as 22 others are hurt due to a shooting after a rally celebrating the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory. This happened on Wednesday. Children's Mercy Hospital says it is treating 12 victims. Most of them are kids with gunshot wounds. Officials say all of them are expected to recover and none of their injuries are critical. Another hospital treating other victims say those injuries range from minor to life-threatening. Authorities do say that 3 people are now in custody.
A verdict in the $370 million civil fraud case against former President Donald Trump is expected by the end of this week. The ruling will cap a trial that started October 2nd and included testimony from the former president and his 3 oldest children. Closing arguments in the case took place January 11th. The New York Attorney General's office alleges Trump and top officials committed persistent fraud by inflating financial statements. The judge has already found that Trump and his executives engaged in fraud. He now needs to decide on the issue of intent and what penalties he and his company should pay.
Here at home, a warning from the Winona County Sheriff's Office to be cautious about if you get a call from someone posing as a deputy. The Sheriff's Office says it has received several calls from people who say a caller is claiming to be from the Winona County Sheriff's Department, saying that those people have a warrant. The scammer then asks for personal information and payment in gift cards. We are told that the Sheriff's Office does sometimes call people when they have a warrant, but it will never ask for personal data or request any money over the phone. We're told the only way to clear your warrant is to go to the jail and wait for court or to pay your bail.
The man accused of fatally shooting someone in Southwest Rochester will next appear in court at the end of the month. 20-year-old Isaac Gutierrez is facing a second-degree murder charge in the death of 24-year-old Osbel Ornelas, who died of gunshot wounds to the head. This happened last Saturday afternoon in the parking lot near Chick-fil-A. Police say the shooting stemmed from road rage. This was over a parking spot. Gutierrez has not entered a plea in the case, but has demanded an omnibus hearing. His next court appearance is Tuesday, February 27th. February is American Heart Month, where we highlight the importance of taking care of our heart health.
Yeah, there are obviously things that we can all do individually to keep our heart at its best, but you can also play a role in saving someone else's life. According to the Southeast Minnesota chapter of the American Red Cross, knowing how to do CPR is a life-saving skill, and you just never know when you're going to need it. The nonprofit recommends at least one person in every family know how to perform CPR and suggests getting those lessons frequently. We're also told giving blood is another effective way to help.
When you donate blood, you get a little mini physical as part of that process. They check your pulse, they check your blood pressure, they check your temperature and the hemoglobin in your blood to make sure that you're healthy enough to donate.
And you can sign up to give blood at our KTTC Mayo Clinic Community Blood Drive. That's happening again today. Plus, if you're interested in learning CPR, there are opportunities online and in person with the Red Cross, and you can find those resources on our website, kttc.com. On this Thursday morning, it is 6:10. Weather is kind of our top story today after some overnight snowfall. Here's Ted.
1 inch of snow here at the studio, and now we're done with the snowfall today. Still some road conditions, maybe a bit on the slick side, but the weather looking quieter though. There's some sunshine in store for our Thursday. The latest in your forecast is coming up after the break, so stick around.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
The snow came to an end before 2 o'clock this morning here in Rochester. We have a fresh inch of snow on the ground here on the weather patio, and now we are beginning to see some daylight, a little sunlight. The skies have cleared, and so we're looking at the prospect of a sun-filled but very cold and breezy day. But right now, road conditions are getting better in some spots. In fact, here around Rochester, mostly green on the MnDOT map, telling us that road conditions are normal now. Normal road conditions. There are still some areas where it's blue, and that tells us that the roads are partially snow covered. We, of course, had that crusty layer of rain that changes snow, so all the dampness has frozen up again. That's from that slush, and now temperatures have fallen into the low 20s. I already see some sunshine, though, from Austin. Nice, promising start to the day here. In, also, Lake City and Rochester, blue sky overhead, and the prospect of something cold but sunny is ahead of us for the rest of our Thursday. We were in the 40s yesterday with some sun, then some rain, and temperatures have fallen now from below the freezing mark. That happened around midnight. So the official high temperature today, right around 31 degrees, but we will not get above freezing today. It'll be the first time this month, incidentally, though, we will have a high temperature below the freezing mark. In the strange month of February, certainly it has been. The skies have cleared off. We have some blue sky in store as high pressure tries to work its way in from the west, but still a breezy, cold day ahead of us. Right now it's 21 in Rochester, 18 in Dodge Center, 24 in Osage. Temperatures will move up a little bit with the help of that mid-February sunshine. That's it, though. Won't be up the freezing mark, to say the least. 21 right now. It feels like 8. Those winds northwest 14, gusting to around 20 miles per hour. Morning commute 23 degrees, cold sunshine. Those raw winds continue. Road conditions slowly improving as road crews are able to clear some of that snow off. Blustery weather tomorrow with more of that sunshine, even colder temperatures. The weekend still bright and cold, but slowly improving. By the time we get to Sunday, less wind. But today, tomorrow, and Saturday, all on the windy side and rather cold with that sunshine still around. But future track today, raw winds, some sunshine in store for the rest of today. Here come the clouds. A clipper system grazes us to the south and west. What that does, bring some clouds, but also some flurries and snow showers, areas from Mason City, Clear Lake, Northwood, down towards Sheffield. Maybe a minor coating, maybe a 1/10 of an inch or less of snowfall around midnight. And then skies will clear tomorrow with gusty winds and temperatures in the low 20s. And wind chill just above 0 tomorrow. Temperatures today climbing to around 29. The wind chill index at warmest around 17 today. So you can imagine it's going to be a cold and blustery day. Temperatures over the next couple of days on the winter end of the scale, closer to the seasonal average. But then next week, here comes spring warmth again, 40s for all of next week, sunshine and March-like conditions. But today, 29, mostly sunny, blustery. Northwest winds 10 to 20, gusting to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, 17, not as much wind though. A couple of snow showers or flurries southwest in the area. And the 7-day forecast, we have sunshine this weekend and warmer sunshine next week. If you're missing that March warmth already, there will be some to look forward to in the coming week.
Yeah, bring back March. That's fine. No, some people want the snow, and we hear you. We can't make everybody happy, but we can give you a look at your morning commute, and that's thanks to Kaylee Dirschel, one of our amazing photographers who's been out and about this morning. She was showing us Highway 52 and 63 earlier, which were really cleared off, and in contrast, we want to give you a look at some of the streets in town as well. She's been on Broadway here, heading on to Elton Hills Drive, and you can see things are just a little bit messier in town because we did have that rain before the snow, so things a little bit slushy out there. And if you can allow a little extra time for your morning commute, you may want to do that. And Kaylee, thanks so much for sticking with us through the morning to give us a safe look at what people will be encountering as they head out the door this morning. And we have more on this on our website and our app. as well.
Yeah, she's definitely been our eyes outside this morning, that's for sure. It is 6:17. We've got a preview of today's wrestling and hockey playoffs for Southeast Minnesota schools, plus Iowa Hawkeye basketball star Caitlin Clark. She's only 8 points away from setting a record in the NCAA, so we're going to tell you when you can watch her do that next in sports. And be sure to download our free apps right to your smartphone. That'll bring you all of the latest news, weather, and sports.
KTTC weather.
Good morning, I'm Noah Kaplan. Here's what you can expect today in sports. First up, the magic number is 8. That's the number of points Iowa star Caitlin Clark needs to score tonight against the Michigan Wolverines to become women's college basketball's all-time leading scorer. The original record is held by current Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum. That game tonight for Iowa is set to start at 7 p.m., and if you blink, you might miss it. Clark tends to score quickly, so 8 points should not be an issue for her. Also today, high school sectional wrestling starts for Southeast Minnesota. Let's take a look at the 2A bracket. First up, Zumbrota, Mazeppa, Cannon Falls, Stewartville, and Caston Manorville all 5s. The opening round, which starts tonight at 6, will have the lower seeded matchups playing at the schools that are seeded the highest at their portion of the bracket. The winner then plays the higher seed right after it advances this evening. So the winner of Byron Lake City plays Zumbrota Mazeppa tonight. Both matches are at ZM. The Pine Island La Crescent Hoka winner plays Cannon Falls. Both are at Cannon Falls. Austin PEM will play each other to play 3-seeded Stewartville at Stewartville, and Caledonia Houston plays Waseca at 2-seeded Caston Manorville to take on the home team KM. Now to the 1A bracket, starting at 6 this evening. 2 play-in matches. St. Charles against Fillmore Central, Lanesboro, Mabel Canton at Chatfield High School to play Chatfield later this evening in the quarterfinals. Playing Triton and Wabasha Kellogg will hit the mat at Canyon Wanamingo for a chance to play the bracket's 2-seed. Quarterfinals also take place this evening with 2 solidified matchups in place. Dover Iota against GMLA West and Goodhue versus Lewiston, Altura, Rushford, Peterson. Also happening today, a big Section 1A final in girls hockey happening at the Owatonna Steele County Four Seasons Arena at 5 p.m. The puck will drop between the 1-seeded Dodge County Wildcats and 2-seeded Simley. These two faced off once during the regular season, with Simley taking it 3-1. But this one is for all the marbles. Timberwolves tip off at 9 tonight in Portland in the second half of a back-to-back with the Trailblazers, while the Gophers take on the second-ranked Purdue Boilermakers on the road. Tall task for the Gopher men tonight. That'll do it for sports. That's what you can look forward to today. Have a great one.
KTTC Sports.
Some super news for people who love heroes. Top comic book brands are teaming up on print crossovers, and this is for the first time in decades.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. They are releasing the DC versus Marvel Omnibus. Both of these collections are of older crossover stories that can be kind of hard to find. The comics answer questions like, who would win a fight between Batman and Captain America? And what would it be like for Batman and Wolverine to interact? Questions we all have this morning, right? Both are due out on August 6th of this year.
Big life questions. Meghan Markle has a new podcast deal. Lemonada Media says the Duchess of Sussex will host a yet-to-be-titled podcast on its platform. Lemonada will also begin streaming Archetypes, Meghan's podcast that debuted in spring of 2022. This comes less than a year after Prince Harry and Meghan ended their podcasting partnership with Spotify. Lemonada streams several well-known celebrity podcasts, like ones hosted by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Sarah Silverman, and Samantha Bee. Financial terms of this deal have not been disclosed. It is 6:26. We are looking into the mystery of thousands of dead fish washing up on the shores of Lake Pepin.
Plus, a check on policing in the city of Goodhue, with Goodhue County providing law enforcement services there. We'll be right back. A sign of winter is back in Minnesota. Here's a live look outside this morning at Highway 63 at 40th Street. As you can see, there is some snow on the ground. So we're going to be sharing your first alert forecast to make sure you and your family are prepared and safe as you start your day. KTTC News Today starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good morning, everyone. We appreciate you waking up with us on this Thursday morning. I'm Kelsey Merrier.
And I'm Jess Abrahamson. Good morning. You will notice some changes out there for your morning commute. We do have some fresh snow. And Ted, it's a little bit messy because we got rain just ahead of that snow.
Unfortunately, yeah, that is what happened. And so the pavement was wet. It was relatively warm still from recent days of spring-like conditions, but then the snow accumulated on that, and then temperatures took a nosedive, and so everything was at one point was slushy, and now it's all crusty and partially snow-covered, or in some cases a little bit icy. But here's a look at some of the road conditions around the area. Vast improvement has been made since the top of our broadcast at 4:30. At one point, the map was almost completely blue. We see a lot of green, and that tells us that it's normal driving conditions all the way to Winona, for instance, on Highway 14 in Rochester. That is a recent change in the last 10 minutes. That's most of Interstate 90, also green. Everything around Rochester green. So we are looking at normal driving conditions in a big part